Hi, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode on data science and AI in the UK, especially. I'm joined here with my friend and colleague, Franklin, who is also a data scientist. Just quick introduction. My name is Arinze. I have a PhD in computer science, and I am a practicing lead data science engineer here in the UK. And I'll hand over to my colleague and friend Franklin. Franklin, over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Franklin Oliha. I have a master's in as a data scientist with a first degree as a software engineer. I'm currently working in the UK civil service as a data scientist. Thank you
All
for
right,
having me.
thank you. So today we'll be talking through or talking to our viewers on generally about data science and AI in the UK, because I get this question all the time.
Yeah,
What are the necessary steps to take in getting to this part? And in the next series of episodes, because we've only got 30 minutes for this episode one, in the next series of episodes, we're breaking them down into more granular details. But today we want to look at introduction to data science and AI in the UK, starting first of all with what is data science and what is AI? And I will take that first question. And so, data science is really, again, a very interdisciplinary field of study, combining algorithms and scientific methods, etc., to primarily focus on answering questions around decision making, extracting insights from data. Okay, so it is the science of data essentially, right? And it combines fields of statistics, physics, etc., into an interdisciplinary field combined with algorithms, that the primary focus or objective is to extract insights from data, from noisy data, structured and unstructured data, etc. So, if you want to answer questions about data, data science is that part, and it's a very, very, very exciting field. For me personally, I have been able to work with different clients over many years now. I've been practicing for the past actually about 15 years now. I started my PhD in 2012, so that's a very long time ago, and
yeah,
did my master's prior to that time in information systems management. And before then, I had my bachelor's in engineering in electrical electronics engineering. So I've been in the field of science and engineering for a good number of years now, over 20 years. And so I feel like data science is an exciting field. But what then is AI? So AI, or artificial intelligence, is this branch of computer science that is really aimed at creating tasks that mimic human intelligence. So it goes a step further. You're talking about reasoning, you're talking about learning, you're talking about perception, you're talking about problem solving, things that emulate human behavior in order to automate complex tasks. So typical examples that you may have seen, facial recognition systems, today's large language models, all these are things that are products of years of study within the artificial intelligence field. And we're going to be breaking these down in the other episodes. So what are the primary goals of data science? Like I said, data science is primarily focused around finding hidden patterns and insights, while AI is focused around creating intelligent and autonomous systems. Data science
yeah,
is focused on things like data cleaning, analysis, and visualization, while AI is really focused on model training, algorithm developments, etc. Data science is focused on on helping humans make better decisions, while AI is really focused on systems that act without human intervention. Today we hear about AI agents, etc. You can set up an agent to run, and then you come back, you get the results, etc. And tools that can potentially be used are things like Python and R and SQL, Tableau, statistics and all that. These are some of the tools, and again, we'll talk about tools much later. And
Yeah.
within AI, you have libraries like PyTorch or TensorFlow, neural networks, etc. So these are some of the key differences. I would like Franklin to talk us through what is the UK market currently on this field. What is the demand? If you come into the UK to do your master's in
Yeah.
data science, for example, what are your prospects? I get that question a lot. And so, Franklin, over to you.
Thank you. You see, by the year 2035, over 3.9 million roles will be available for data scientists and AI engineer. Because if you look at it, the world is diving towards that direction. The world is going towards the direction because now AI keep evolving, and we have a lot of data. Daily we produce data. As we are communicating now, we are producing data. So those data we need to bring out data from those insights, and we need to understand our business using those data, and we need to advise business on the direction they will take. So the market is so huge. Those that are coming, this is the right direction for you because AI is here to stay. I always tell my friend that, you know what, AI is here to stay. AI is not taking your job, but people using AI will take your job. You should have that understanding. AI is not directly taking your job, but people using AI will take your job. So the market value is so huge in the UK. A lot is like recently UK, they are moving into facial recognition, which has never happened here in the UK. But we are into it now. What does that mean? A lot of data will be processed. We'll be capturing data daily. And doing all that, we need people that can get inside those data, use those data, bring out inside from those data, use data to produce results, to guide businesses on how direction where they can go about their businesses. So yeah, this the market here is high. The demand is high. For the next decade, we are in that direction. Data will keep producing data, and people will be needed to mine this data, bring out insight from this data, and kind of predict, prescribe, with all those data. So yeah.
Excellent. And like you said, the market is really huge. I remember back in the day, and again we'll come to our stories. But yeah, the market is huge. If you want to come, you are very, very welcome to come register for your masters in data science or AI and all that. And indeed, there are prospects, huge ones, today. I want to talk through the typical roles after graduation, because that's another question that gets asked very often. And like I said, there are so many. We're going to be breaking down the academic parts in the next episode, and we have a pipeline of work. So stay tuned, stay subscribed to our channels to see a lot more. But what are the typical roles of this field after graduate? What do I do after graduation? I get that question a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first thing that someone could do when you graduate with your master's in data science, for example, is that you could maybe first of all, you can get a job as a data scientist, or data analyst. Okay. Now the critical difference there is that the scientist would be involved in development of algorithms and models, etc., training ML models, etc., while the analyst is going to be more focused on tidying data, cleaning data, generating insights, and all that. So while the analyst may know deeper, while the scientists may know deeper things like, or the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning and all those sort of things, the analyst may not be concerned with that. And while the analyst may also be very bent on Excel and data visualization, the data scientist may not be too much concerned with Excel, for example, because an analyst needs to produce charts all the time and to communicate to stakeholders and all that. That may not be what the data scientists will be doing all the time, but both of them need to show something. Both the analysts and data scientists, they need to communicate results. They need to show data visualizations. So a data scientist could show results from plots, for example, and analysts may decide to show it using things like Tableau, for example, right? So you could get a data scientist job, entry role, data analyst job. Another job that someone could get when you graduate is as an ML engineer. All right. So an ML engineer is someone that develops ML models through an ML pipeline. Okay. And again, this may sound heavy for very, very new people, but machine learning models today on Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform, etc., there is a pipeline of work from data ingestion to feature extraction to model training to the CI/CD part, and then all the way to the outputs. That pipeline using things like TensorFlow and PyTorch, is what the ML engineer is typically going to be focused on. He is the one building these intelligent systems. He is also called the AI engineer. Okay, and so these are these are sort of jobs that someone could get. And finally, if you come here to study as a data scientist, you could see your path progress into an AI researcher. Okay, so you could continue. So, for example, when I finished my master's, one of the reasons why I got quickly into PhD route is because I did my master's dissertation well enough that my supervisor picked interest on me to develop things further into a research. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons how I ended up doing a PhD. It was not initially in the plan, but I'm so glad that I did it. I followed that part and all that. And we're going to talk, kind of briefly on how we both successfully graduated from our master's degrees. But just to round off on that last point on AI researcher, you can be deep into the mathematics, the algebra, the Python coding, the research, publishing papers, etc. On this field, typically working as a researcher within a university or as a researcher for an independent organization. All right, let's say Google. Google has their research teams, all the big companies, they have kind of research departments, BT and all that. They all have research departments. And so there are so many lines where you could pitch your career to develop it further in. I would like, and so when you have now gotten your job, for example, there are emerging sectors within the UK, diverse sectors in FinTech, in healthcare. Here in the UK, it's called the NHS, National Health Service, transport and energy, renewables, etc. I'd like Franklin to talk us through these emerging sectors where AI and data science are prominently being used and people are enjoying themselves, moving things forward and making tons of money.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, you see, like I'm quickly to add to that role you mentioned. Like there's also a role of data engineer as well. Those that focus on mining data, So if you are in that, if you graduate as a data scientist, there are so many broad areas you can go into. They definitely be the area that befits you. If you know the data analytical part, it might be the data scientist part. If not, as he said, it might be the data, it might be the ML engineer part. So as he said, there are different sectors you can work. In fact, it's all you can work in any sector. If it is the FinTech, which is the financial industry, in the health sector, now AI is diving deeper into the health sector. We are beginning to diagnose with AI these days. If research are going on, like even recently, we can kind of cancer, earlier symptom of cancer can be detected, using AI now. So there's a lot. You can work in the financial industry, in the health industry, commerce, just name it. All sectors require data scientists. That's the beautiful part of it. You are not restricted to any area. You can work in any sector. So you are open to like to work in any kind of company, in the financial sector, in banking sector, name it, in a health, a law firm. You can work anywhere because they all use data. Any firm these days, they all have data, and any company that have data, they want to make use of their data, get inside with their data, understand their data to prescribe. So these are all the things you'll be doing. So if you are in this field, I'm assuring you can work anywhere, and depends on your capacity. If you are not that strong with coding, you can stop as a data analyst. You don't. Those are the shallow part of it. You don't have to go deeper into kind of coding much. With some visualization tools with Excel, you can do much. You can advise business on direction they can take. You can focus more of this. There's what we call descriptive analysis. You can be more on that. You don't have to go further. So those are the data scientists. Those are those that prescribe, that take step further. Into the coding part. So they can take further, prescribe to business, look at their data, gain understanding, and tell them what predict and prescribe to what they can do with their business. So you see, there are different aspects of it. Depends on your capacity. So that's why I advise everyone, like, if you are having a mindset that you want to go into it, don't relent. The market is high, and all companies, they are there to accept you no matter the field. You can work in any firm in the UK, even across the world. So that is my contribution regarding that.
Excellent. And that's absolutely true. There is no field that I can think of that doesn't require a data scientist. And so if you think of both the consulting fields, of course, data scientists are required, because as a consultant, you work across multiple organizations and problem domains. In healthcare, of course, data scientists are needed. I'm trying to think of contractors that repair the road, for example. Somebody may ask, what would the data scientists do there? Well, in the office, they crunch data. All right, those guys that are on the field doing the work and all that, somebody needs to crunch the data around how efficient and how optimized their workflow is. Somebody needs to do that, and if they don't have that insight, they won't be able to budget properly as to where to invest in their company in order to grow their margin, grow their profit margin. So everything boils down to data, and all the methods that we would talk about in other episodes that are statistical methods, etc., data science methods that you can use to do this work. They all come to play as you work in the field. One of the questions I get asked very often is on universities. Okay, someone is deciding to come to the UK, to study data science and AI, and here is trending and all that. How would the person go about making a choice? What are the key things to look out for? Now, I would demystify this for a lot of people, that first of all, you don't need to be in to get admission in Oxford or Cambridge
Cambridge. Oh,
or University College London or Imperial College, and all the big schools. These are great schools. These are our big four, as they call them, right? If you get admission into one of them, great. All right. But it is not about the school. Now, when you are doing your research, you will most likely come across this Guardian University ranking list that you see the hierarchy of universities based on different benchmarks. All right. I wouldn't obviously encourage or recommend that you take the school that is at the bottom. If there are 105 schools in the UK, I wouldn't perhaps encourage you to take the 105th school. All right. But at the same time, you mustn't be so fixated, oh, my school is not among the top 10. No. Find a school that is very, very strong in that data science career part or discipline. Right? Find a school with some kind of research pedigree in that field and get admission with those schools. All right. When you get admission look at the modules that you're going to be studying. Okay. Make sure that they are aligned with your interest as a data scientist. Okay. Some may be more focused on data science. In other words, the analysis, the statistics, the prescriptive analysis, descriptive analysis, etc. Some may be more focused on artificial intelligence and how you develop models in PyTorch or TensorFlow, etc. Deploy them on Google Cloud Platform, etc. Right? So depending on what your strong area of interest is, find a school that aligns with that. That's number one. Number two, also find a school that will give you the opportunity to do a placement, if possible. All right. I happen to find our school. Now, I studied at the Montfort University in Leicester between 2010 and 2012 for my own master's. And my school gave me the opportunity to, well, it wasn't the school, but there was the option to do a placement. So I took advantage. You finish your first semester and second semester, you find a placement. A placement is essentially a period where you can work, and then after that, you then do your final dissertation. And so that work experience is really, really crucial. It's really, really critical, for everything, because once you graduate, you can have that on your CV, and it will really, really make your CV much better than the average person that just graduated without doing, a placement. And so find that a school that can give you some opportunity for placement is there. And then, of course, when the time comes, you would be the one to apply. But your lecturers, the school, and everybody, they will try to help you to find a place. Okay. And so I think I can't stress it enough that the main thing is what you have learned in the university. All right. And obviously what you have learned and what you graduated with, of course. So just talking about graduation and what you graduate with, it just so happened that myself, by the grace of God, I graduated with a distinction in my master's, and Franklin also graduated with a distinction in his master's. And I have a friend that just called me just last week, actually. He was a former colleague of mine, and I prescribed these same things. He went into the university. He wants to change career. All right. He's been doing other things as a back-end engineer and all that. He wants to change career into data science. He did what I told him to do. And he called me last week, and he was just so excited that he graduated with a distinction in his master's, And we just have all those stories coming up all the time. People have graduated and etc. So that could also be your story. And I would like Franklin to just share with us briefly what your personal experience was when you were studying for your master's. How did you pull it off? How did you do your first semester, your second semester, your project, how you eventually emerged successfully with a distinction and you've landed your job and all that. Talk us through that.
Thank you. So I'll first of all add to that you mentioned about when you're choosing your school, when you're choosing your uni. Like what you just said a while ago, I'm going to add to that. First thing I did, I ensured that I look at their module. That the first thing. Ensure that they suit what you're looking for. Ensure you do that. Go to the website, look at what they're offering. School does not really matter, but look at their module to be ensured that this is what they are offering. Then with that, you will know if it's what you want. Most schools that have hands-on practical, you have to create that, have that time. School that give you time for practical. You have to be in the lab most time. Be in the get on the system, practice what you're learning. Have much coursework. Have time for practical. Ensure that one is there. So if you follow up with that, you realize that it is what you actually need. You don't have to think of this school must be the higher one or so. You must not be the top 4 school in the country. Just ensure that they have what is required. Then you are good to go. So in my own journey, you have to. There's what you call there's what you call sacrifice. You have to create that time. You have to ensure that you create that to really know what you're doing. Don't just know what you're doing, know why you are doing it. That is very important. That would distinct you from all your colleagues. There was my most of my lecturer, they know I ask questions a lot, but my questions are reasonable. Whenever I ask questions, they know that because I don't just want to do what everybody is doing. I want to know why I'm doing it. If you know why you are doing what you're doing, it exempts you from others. It differentiates you. It gives you a different mindset. You do things differently when you know why you are doing what you're doing. That is very important. So I follow that a lot, and I take my time to study. Whatever we know, we're in a country that whereby there are kind of challenges. You have to work sometimes, but if you are doing your coursework, take your time to get it done. If you take your time I can be on my system for like some time, 8-12 hours. Because I know what I'm going to achieve at the end of it. If you are studious, take your time to enjoy what you're doing. Practice it. Take your time to do it. You find that you definitely get what you're looking for. You will get that grade you are looking for. There's no cutting. There's no shortcut to it. You just have to enjoy what you're doing. Be best, focus, and take that time to learn it and do it, and know why you are doing whatever you're doing. With that one, you will definitely come up with flying color. In my first degree, I did another degree in the UK, University of Bolton. So I graduated with first class. So before I progressed to my for my master's, where I did data science, then I graduated with distinction. So I have that mindset, like I have to distinct myself, focus on what I'm doing, ensure that you're studious, you have those materials, because here you have access to all the materials, unlike when we're in Africa. Then you have all the material here you need. It's you that can succeed by your if you want to succeed, you will succeed because you have all the material available for you. If you are studious, you will definitely get what you want because all the material they have been made available to you. So that is what I will maybe some other time we share more details about the steps and how we get how we're able to take it step by step to how we achieve what we achieve at the end of it. So I think I will,
thank you. Thank you so much for that, Franklin. In our next episode, we'll be talking about the academic pathways. All right. So stay subscribed. If you are already thinking about how you're going to do your master's in the field of data science and AI in the UK, and you have some questions, put them on the comment section. Tell us what your interests are. It may be in a different field as well. Let us know, and we can, answer those questions, support you, and tell us, share your thoughts, etc. Now, in our next episode, we'll be looking more deeply into the various academic, pathways. What are the various prerequisites, or prerequisites as they call it, that you will need to enter into this field to get your admission? What are the popular? Of course, you graduate with a master's in this field. How do you how would those programs align with your goals, and how do you go about doing your assignments and projects, right? The way you think as an undergraduate student, the way you are assessed is different from the way you are assessed as a master's student. If you want to emerge as, with a distinction, for example, I happen to have had the privilege of being both a student and a lecturer. Okay, I lectured at the university for a couple of years before I started working. One as a PhD student, one after when I've even graduated from PhD. So I know I've assessed students at both master's level and undergraduate, master students and undergraduate students. And so I know the chart that is used to grade students across both the master's or undergraduate study parts. So we're going to be talking through these things. How do you carry out your assignments? What are the kind of how do you think towards? It's not just you are asked a question and then you just bring back the answer just like that. No, you have to have thought through it. You have to show independence of thoughts and all that. So we're going to be talking through all these, breaking them down in more details in our next episode, Academic Pathways. And until then, we are out of time, but we want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for staying up to this time in our very first discussion. And I would like my friend Franklin to say something to the audience before we wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. Ensure you subscribe because you will learn a lot. This is just the beginning. A lot is coming your way. Ensure you stay tuned, subscribe, and ensure that you are here to listen to us always. I'm assuring you, you will learn a lot from us. So thank you
Excellent.
for watching. Yeah.
Excellent.
See you
See
on
you
the
in the
next.
next episode. Bye for now.